You are the guy who ordered mamak without taugeh.
That's the one.
Why is the people who eat vegetable is like this? It's like that. I need to stop eating vegetable.
Lin,
Yeah.
what is the fastest that you have driven?
Polis tengok tak podcast ni. Aku tahu dah tak berlesen, tapi still boleh tak aku cakap.
Yeah, sure.
I'm a slow driver for 140.
See?
Slow
140 slow driver.
Slow driver. Okay. Disclaimer, aku tak tengok anime waktu tu. Aku just bawa kereta
Okay,
je.
that is without the anime.
Yeah, without the anime. With anime, it's like 60.
Yes, I have seen it.
You seen me drive. It's
Yes.
slow. Yeah.
It took us 5 hours to reach from Malacca to Johor. True story.
So hari ni kita ada guest baru.
Yes. Okay, anyway, today our guest, and this is actually a series that we're trying to make.
Oh, ya ke?
We're going to feature the winners of the Malaysian Esports Award.
Patutlah dia ada kat ni.
Yes, we have this. And this is, of course, from Naquib. How are
Nice to
you?
meet you guys. Good. Thank you for having me here. Yeah.
All right, congratulations on winning the Best Racer for 2023.
Thank you so much. Huge award for racing esports in general. So yeah, very happy and very proud to win that one.
Did you expect to win?
I wouldn't say I'd expect to win, but I was calculating my chances. I knew the other competitors, I knew the other drivers, and I was fairly confident that what I achieved last year alone, was good enough to be able to win, but there was no certainty of winning. But I was hoping that I'd win, of course.
So macam mana kau menang? Adakah macam dia orang message ke ataupun ada orang call ke dia? Kau menang weh.
Yeah. How do you find out?
I found out basically when I was doing my instructor work, I didn't really look at my phone. Tapi there was at one point where we were all on a break. Check my phone and everyone's saying, "Oh, congrats." I'm like, I guess I won then.
Nonchalantly.
The most chill way of finding out, right?
Okay.
I guess I won. Okay, but forgot to mention this is the podcast Tak Berlesen. Yeah, you did mention just now.
Yeah,
so,
Tak Berlesen.
just to make it clear to our audience.
Yeah.
And okay, let's dive a bit on your history. Like, what was your childhood like, and how did you enter e-racing in the first place?
Childhood, wow, that's a long years to rewind. Sorry. I'm sorry.
The youngest one saying that.
No, I grew up from a normal household. None of my parents or none of my family members were into racing at that point. But my dad was a major influence on me because he was a huge car lover. He loved motorsports. He loved cars. He worked in workshops and he had a few cars every now and then. So that's how the love for cars came. So he would bring us to Sepang. We go to car shows, look at cars. And this was at a really young age. It's probably three or four.
Whoa,
That's
did you even know what you were looking at?
I probably.
Okay.
I just saw a nice shape and I'm like, oh, I like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I just started off liking cars and then he bring us to the arcade where we drive. You know the NASCAR game?
Yeah.
The
Daytona.
Yeah, the Daytona one. I'd get really annoyed when I lose to my brothers. So that's where the competitive aspect came in. And I was really short when I was young. Like, really short, even for my age. So the first time I got into a real life go-kart was when I was around 5 or 6. Yeah.
Can you even reach?
No.
Then how did you reach the pedals?
I sat down. I could just about reach the pedals, just about hold the steering wheel, but the steering wheel was above my head.
Oh my god.
So
nampak jalan.
I was basically just driving, looking at the sides. My mom didn't really approve of that, but everything was assured of safety, and that was my first experience into the world of motorsports in general. But ever since then, it was just playing racing games. So I started off with the, oh god, you guys know the Sega consoles?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's before PlayStation 1. It was this tiny
tape
Sega. Yes, we had the huge cassettes or something.
Yeah,
like that.
The black
Plug
one,
it in.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
the
We are old
cartridges.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I started e-racing at that point. That was e-racing at that point, playing like rally games, F1 1998 or something like that. Before I wasn't born, that game I was playing that, and that's how I started off. Then we moved on to PlayStation, Gran Turismo, yada yada yada
Slowly
yada
but
yada
surely
yada.
going
Yeah,
up.
but there was no plans, or rather, I knew at that point, like, damn, I like driving. If I could do this every, if this could be my life, I want it to be that way. But obviously, as you guys know, and as I would assume everyone knows, racing isn't the cheapest of sports.
Yep.
It's the atas sport.
It is the atas
it is
sport.
the atas.
I mean, everyone
You
knows
can't deny
that.
it, like-
Yeah, even I am in that sport now, and even then, I can't really support it that much because it is an atas sport, and it's unfortunate it is that way because there's a lot of talents here in
Yeah.
the country, especially that have the potential to be up there, but because of lack of funding and lack of opportunity, it's just near impossible to get up there. And that was what I experienced when I was young. It was just the dream was too big. So I knew that's what I wanted to do, but how I wanted to get there, unknown. But that's really how the love of cars and love of racing got into me. It was because of my dad, and it just transferred to all of my 4 siblings.
But how do you get to competitive? Like playing casual on Sega, cool, but how do you get competitive from there?
So that was actually a huge fast forward from that point on. So
Oh.
yeah, so I I playing games when I was like 4, 5, 6, and throughout the years just kept on playing games. Other people played Call of Duty, Rainbow Six, whatnot, but I was playing racing games. That was my main go-to, and it was not only until 2015 where I got my first ever steering wheel. So up to that point, I was just playing on keyboard and controller. You know how you press the keyboard, you press it harder, it won't go faster, but
you just hold it
it's
down.
just like natural instinct, just
Yeah.
go faster.
When you're controlling, you lean, you will corner better.
Exactly, right?
Doesn't work.
Yeah. But 2015 was like when I got my first ever steering wheel. And even then, it was just mounted on a, mounted
Is
on
it the
a,
suction cup or is it the screw one?
it's a screw.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Screw onto a table,
Uh,
pedals on the floor. Then that's just how I got into sim racing. I just played it. And at that point still, playing for fun, going to online lobbies on Assetto Corsa and whatnot. It was only until 2019 when KL had the Malaysia International Motor Show.
Yep.
And Petronas had a booth where you'd pay like, I don't know, 10 or 20 ringgit to have 10 minutes on the simulator, and it was a proper sim.
the one that like shakes and all.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So me or everyone tried that out. And unknowingly, we all qualified for. Apparently, there was a competition going on.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we were like,
Unknowingly.
unknowingly, they were like, "Oh, you're in the top 10." So
Right.
Come-
Wait, I am?
yeah, I thought to myself, "Cool."
Okay.
I was like, "Cool."
It's the same reaction when he won.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's like, oh, you got text. Oh, cool.
And they were like, "Okay, come by tomorrow because we'll have a sim race where the top 10 race each other." And I'm like, okay. And then we back home, and that night I was thinking to myself, do I want to go? Because it was like a 15-minute drive from my house to
quite far.
KL.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, for what also go? It's just
Yeah.
playing games again, what? Because at that point, I'd never been introduced to the world of sim racing and esports.
Yeah.
At that point, it hasn't really gone up yet and gone up to the norm, so I didn't recognize it. And I was thinking to myself, okay lah. In actual fact, it was me and my 2 other brothers. They were qualified for the lower class. So there was A, B, C, and they were in C, B, and I was in A. So they went first, actually. So they were the one going first. I told them, okay lah, you try go lah, see if, and then I decide whether to go or not. They went and they won their class, and then it turned out you won a rig. A whole proper rig.
Wow. Like a whole set.
A whole set.
Including the PCs and...
No. So
Or
just the
just
the base with the seat
Right.
to mount the steering wheel on. And I'm like,
The case.
yeah. And I'm like, oh my god,
Oh.
this is now worthy.
I want this now.
Yeah. So my younger brother Nabla, he won, and my younger brother Nazme, he won. So we now have 2 rigs.
Oh.
So it was the winner was rig number 1, steering wheel number 2, and headset number 3.
The whole set.
Yeah. So I'm
Right.
thinking to myself, well, they won rigs already. there's no point of winning 3 rigs, you know.
Yeah.
I'll get second and get the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Came out on that day, finished second.
Calculated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you make a whole setup
Yeah.
of it.
And that was the first experience of sim racing and competitive e-racing. And I was shocked because these guys at that point, they were considered seasoned esport racers. So for me to come out of nowhere, no one has ever heard of our name before. We then created this like Azlan brothers kind of tag on, and everyone in the esports world, e-racing world in Malaysia suddenly heard of our names. And that's how then in 2020, when the pandemic hit, e-racing really boomed. So that's when Axel and Alex Yoong, he created the whole e-racing GP. And I was invited to take part in that. And that's when the whole sim racing journey began.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like how fighting game players, I always hear the story of you go to arcade, you put in the coin, and then you try to like win the next guy who comes in and lasts the longest, right? Like, do you do that with like Daytona or whatever racing games are in the arcade?
No, so in the Daytona, it was just me bantering around with my brothers.
Right. Oh, yeah.
There was no... I always had that belief that I could beat other people. Like, when I drive and I compare with myself with my brothers, I'm like, yeah, I'm better than you guys. I'm sure I can beat everyone out there as well. But up to that point, I had no idea that I could. So that first event at 2019, that was the first indicator to me that, hang on a second, I can actually do this. So yeah.
You know, because he was playing Daytona, he was not playing Midnight Club.
Yeah.
That's when everyone
doing it. And I didn't really want to join it because people were, you could buy those cards and you could modify your cars. And I'm like, well, I can't beat you. You got like 400 horsepower more than me.
That's why. It's a pay to win. Technically, it's a pay to win.
So that's why we keep Daytona. Daytona's the fun part.
Balance, every car is the same. But at that time when you play the sim racing, you won. Do you have experience in racing at that time? Like in real life?
No. So at that point, it was just playing with AIs. That was my benchmark of racing. So up to that point, I've never raced real life people.
Oh, but do you have like real cars experience?
No.
When did you start driving like real cars?
I only drove real life cars when I got my driving license. That was my first experience driving cars.
If I calculate correctly, that time he was still underage for driving.
That was cars, barely. It was like a year later.
A year later only then I got to drive. I remember telling my parents like, I want to live long enough to be able to drive a car. Then I'm okay.
That's like your benchmark.
Let me survive until I drive cars.
What a long target that you have. You won.
I accomplished life.
Yeah. But I wonder what was your parents' reaction at that time?
I don't know. I think they were I guess mostly surprised because they didn't know that we could do that. They didn't know we had the capabilities of achieving that sort of great, wins and whatnot. But that 2019 one was still not so special because, not say not so special, but it was
significant.
It was not so significant because it was just like a random car show thing. So who knows who would have showed up. But 2020 when eRacing GP started and we had Alex Yoong hosting the whole event, that's where it became really like a big statement to me and my family and to Alex Yoong himself. Because that championship, because everyone was like halted, the whole world had pretty much stopped. Yeah. So everyone was going onto that sim racing scene. So eRacing GP was a Asia Pacific level championship, an international championship. So we had good drivers from Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, all around the region. And they were pretty much the top of their game. They were the top in their countries. First ever competition for me, qualified for. And then I remember...
You have no competitive experience before
No competitive, other than that 2019 event. So this is 2020 now. And I thought to myself, okay, this is interesting. And then I remember after that, I didn't end up winning that race. I finished second. So after that race weekend, Alex Yoong called me. I was like, and at that point, for me watching F1 on the TV, I see Alex Yoong on TV. So the fact that he's now calling me, I'm like, telling my family like, oh my god, Alex is calling me.
It's like, is this real?
Yeah. I'm like, oh my god, hello.
How did he get in touch with you?
So we were all invited to the WhatsApp group to those who were taking part in the racing series. So it's easy to communicate and whatnot. So Alex Yoong had all of our numbers basically. So after that race weekend, he was like, hey, you know, that was not bad. You should join us for the rest of the season. So I was like, cool. Because like he was mentioning how the winner of that, it was the winner of that championship and the youngest top finisher under 20 gets a test session in a Formula Renault car.
Like an actual car.
An actual Formula Renault car.
So they were actually scouting for talents for the actual
So
F1.
that's what Alex Yoong was trying to do. He was finding talents in the region to prove his tagline of virtual to reality. He wanted to prove that drivers in the sim are real life drivers. And you gave them the opportunity to go into real life, they'll succeed. They'll excel. So
why do you think he wants to prove that point?
Because he wanted to help the talents in this country and the talents in the region who are not that fortunate to be able to get to racing the normal way,
Like the actual cars.
which is through go-karts and junior formula and whatnot. He wanted to prove that you can learn a lot more in sim racing than you can in real life, just because sim racing has unlimited value and unlimited time that you can spend on it. You know? So when he told me that, I'm like, oh my god, this is an actual opportunity to test a real life car. And to those who don't know, a Formula Renault is essentially a baby F1 car. You guys can search out. It's a F1 car, but just miniaturized. So when I heard that, I'm like, I'm so gonna do this now. Like because at that funny story again, that first race, I didn't know whether I wanted to take part or not. Again, because you know why? I had to spend 20 ringgit buying the car. And I didn't know if I wanted to spend 20 ringgit.
At that time, 20 ringgit.
20 ringgit was a lot, you know, because I was still school. I didn't have money, and I'm like, I could use that to buy food.
Fair enough. It's a fair consideration.
So I'm like, 20 ringgit, do I want to do this? Because at that point,
worth of food.
because I didn't know what it would bring at the end of the day. So after that, it was a huge lesson for me, because I'm like, this is what people say, if you get an opportunity, take it. That's because I never grasped that, you know. I'm like, why take it if you're not knowing there's a value at the end of it? But you never know if there is going to be a value or not if you don't do it. So I think that was a big message for me, you know, like any opportunity you see or a possible opportunity, take it with no question. So that's how it all really started.
Every time he nonchalantly like, do I want to do it? He won.
It was not as easy as that.
It doesn't make it look like
it was never as easy as that.
But I remember Alex Young always, like, I did an interview with him before this. He always said that people who do sim racing can beat real life driver because they have a chance to go around the world without leaving his house and practice on all the maps that is in the world by in your own house.
Okay, I want to verify that statement with you as someone who has had a hand in both, right? Do you still believe in that statement?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Right.
Because the drivers, especially to those in Europe and they're traveling around the world racing, it is difficult to beat their experience because they actually first-handedly experience those things in real life. With those especially here in Malaysia, it's so difficult to go out there and race. Their only racetrack is Sepang. So that's the only track they drive, and they only drive front-wheel drive cars. There's not a lot of racing series which have formula cars, prototype cars, Le Mans cars. So us in sim racing, we have this mode of driving and experiencing all these types of cars and all these types of tracks around the world that we pick up on skills that you just can't get in the real world. And because we're so limited with resources here, because tires are expensive, track time is expensive, it's just so impossible to match what you can learn from sim racing. So that's what, you know.
While we are at that topic, the price, how much is per lap in Malaysia? including the tires, the fuel.
Oh
and
gosh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is the question that I want to ask because
The
I
money
always
part.
wanted to try,
Uh-huh.
but I'm scared of the price.
Right. So, oh, this is scary. To those who are in the motorsport scenes, they've heard of track days. So track days is either Sepang organized or external organizations.
Oh, okay.
They will book the track
Mhm.
and they will open it to the public.
Okay.
So you can bring any car you want. You can bring your own car even, yeah, to experience track driving. But if you want to experience proper race cars,
Yeah.
you would look at about, for one day session, you'd be looking at, say, a Suzuki Swift.
Okay. Suzuki
Yeah.
Swift.
Suzuki Swift race car prepped. All days track sessions, which is roughly, I don't know, with the sessions split and whatnot, a 3-hour
Okay.
total,
Okay, hold my hand.
you'll be looking at 10 grand.
Holy! Hold my hand! Hold my hand!
You need to hold my hand. I want to run.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Wow. That is for everything. Okay, let's just clarify. That is for everything.
That is for the full track experience of having a race car, a race team, prep the car, and you just come there and drive.
I
So-
feel it's worth it.
It is worth it.
Okay, what's the starter pack?
If you want a starter pack,
Yeah.
Is that the
you bring your own car.
Ah,
Yeah, so a set of tires. You can bring like just anything
Second-hand
really.
tire,
Yeah,
you know.
anything at all. You'll be looking at a 700 ringgit for 4 hours.
okay, that's what I got price as well.
Yeah.
My
Right,
friend
the
said
starter
just
pack.
bring 1K, bring your car, and just do it. Because my car is a Mesa manual. I can do it.
Yeah.
My car can do it.
So any car can.
Any car. Mate, I've gone to track days and I've seen a stock Axiago on the track.
Whoa!
Wait, stop us, yeah?
Yeah.
I thought your car needs to be of a certain you need to have this and that before you can get on the racetrack.
No. If you just want to merely experience track driving,
Yeah.
just bring your own car. The organizations who would organize track days is roughly around 700 for 4 hours. Bring it in and enjoy. That's really...
You know what I want to try? Go to a racetrack, drive like a normal car there. That means
Oh yeah.
speed limit,
Speed limit.
110. Then you want to go to that signal.
Signal. And then you want to start the side, you give the double light.
Double light.
the
Boleh
emergency light.
potong.
You would have cars coming, flashing their lights out. They'll be like, move out of the way.
But if you let's say you go for the starter pack, you bring your own cars.
Yeah.
There will be other cars there as well.
There will be
right?
other cars,
So you'll
yeah.
be mixing with other
It'll
people.
be a whole range of different type of cars. You'll be cars with... There'll be race cars as well who come there for testing, for example, for their practice sessions. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, it'll be just us enthusiasts who want to experience track driving.
But how about the safety of it? Like, let's say I'm a noob driver, right? I just bring my Myvi, go there, and everyone's like, boom, and then one of them just crashes onto me or whatever.
So that's
would that happen?
that's the beauty of track days. Everyone is aware it's not a race session.
Right.
Everyone has
It's
to,
different.
Everyone has to fix in their mind it's not a track session.
Okay.
You have to be aware of other people and you have to be expecting people who've never driven the track before. So everyone has to drive with a sense of defense driving, you know. Aware like, okay, I'm not gonna dive bomb you. Only overtake on safe straights, for example. Insurance isn't covered because when you bring a car on the track, insurance does not cover it. That's
Understandable.
it's
Okay.
It's like at your own risk thing.
Yeah, park
Correct.
at your own risk,
Right.
race
Yeah.
at your own risk.
exactly. But that's where it differs from race sessions and track day sessions. Track day session is merely for fun. So you're not expected to give way for faster people, or for example. Everyone's driving at their own pace and yeah, it's just for fun.
Right. What is the most fun session that you have seen? Like maybe Kancil days and you see all the Kancils
Oh
just
my
going
God,
wild.
that'd be so
I don't
fun.
know.
Whoa,
What's the
There's a
what's the
team.
team? Yeah, what's the most fun team that you've
My
seen?
most fun team was probably the race that I joined last year, where we call K car race.
Okay, what's the
So
cake?
K car race. First of all, it's a 24-hour race, like Le Mans,
Oh, it's not the
24-hour race. But instead of racing actual Le Mans cars, we have what we call K cars, and K cars in Japan are these little tiny cars with have less than 1000 cc. So your Khaleesas, your Kanchels,
Oh,
that is the type of cars that are racing.
K car. So
I
Yeah.
thought it's in the Japan like it's like a go-kart, but it's like a bit more beefed up go-kart.
No. It's
Oh, it's not
actual
that one.
cars. So like your Khaleesas, your
It's
Kanchels.
1K below.
Yeah, 1K below.
it's the CC, right?
Yes.
Right. Basically, it's the CC. So
It's
it's
a
like this-
1000 cc and
kind of
1
car.
liter
I'm
and below.
thinking of what is 1K in Malaysia. Kalisa, Kanchil,
Canary,
Canary.
Axia.
Oh yeah, Axia
Yeah.
is.
So that was so fun because that's where you see the real enthusiasts. It's those that don't have the budget to go into like GT cars and whatnot, but they love racing so much they would do Kanchos and whatnot become race cars.
Confirm they modify the
Yeah,
car so
yeah,
that
yeah.
it can below 1K when it's so close. It's not 1K anymore.
like you cannot spend on cars, but you
Yeah.
can spend on 700 ringgit for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like okay.
So
That would be fun.
so that is by far the most fun things that I've seen because it was just huge loads of people who just loved racing and wanted to be a part of it.
I really think like people like that they just buy that car just for racing.
Yeah.
They just modify. They learn how to do mechanic stuff.
Yes.
So you don't care if the car broke down or break down or anything.
Exactly.
It's just for fun.
It's just a fun race. It's mainly a fun race.
Yeah.
That's the real major fun of it.
I want to know a bit more about the community, right?
Mm.
So you mentioned about the e-racing peeps coming into the actual racing peeps.
Yeah.
Like, what is the reaction from the racing peeps now? Do they feel invaded?
Invaded.
Invaded. Wow.
Wow.
That's a good word. Well, essentially, it was unheard of. Basically,
Uh-huh.
you never at that point when I came in, there was no story where you hear about a sim racer or esports racer come into real life. It was unheard of. So when it happened for me, so I started e-racing competitively-ish 2020. And 2021 was when I first joined real life racing. So like Alex, so through my e-racing in 2020, got recognized by Toyota. And they had just introduced this new Gazoo Racing Rookies program. So this is where they want to hone the younger talents to be future racing drivers. And they had total of 6 drivers. 4 of them were karters, the usual trajectory of going to racing.
Okay.
And then there were 2 sim racers, me and another guy. So that's where people first saw the e-racing scene and real life racing scene merge together.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of eyes who decided and speculated that there's no way these guys are good. There's no way these guys who played at their home in the living room.
Computer games.
Yeah, we've just playing ridiculous computer games.
Yeah.
There's no way they can actually drive in real life. And happy to say, in that first practice session, we managed to prove them wrong. And in that first session, me and the other sim racer, we were pretty much
You're topping them?
We were faster than the car.
What made you guys faster than them?
I think it's because like we said, we drive all these other cars, so we have techniques that can accommodate different types of cars.
The style of driving.
The style of driving. So you have experiences. Okay, you drive a Formula car, you drive like this. Drive a touring car, you drive a bit differently.
Yeah.
So it's all these different styles that you have to learn to adapt. Because we, as sim racers, we don't just drive one game. We drive multiple games.
Yeah.
And we're expected to be able to switch just like that between one sim to another. And it's actually really difficult because every game has a different physics and whatnot. So that's where it helped, because we drove into this first of time we'd driven a race car before.
Yeah.
And that's where it helped, because we've never learned to it. We never experienced it before. So it was just a matter of who can adapt quicker. And those karting drivers, they've only driven karts. So they don't have the experience of driving a different cars and a real life
something
car.
you can adapt right, between cars.
And karting style of driving cannot be transferred to real life cars because they move about more. Karts are really stiff and really direct. While as real life cars, they're a bit more wallowy.
Tayar belakang dia boleh melayang sikit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where we had the advantage. That's where we could immediately hit the ground running. And that's really how it all began, and how then people were like, huh, these guys.
Yeah, I wonder what's the aftermath of that, right? Do they like come to your locker room and be like, boy, don't step into our territory, okay? Or how was the aftermath?
It was
to our
so
turf.
the racing community is actually really friendly in general, because we're a really small community. There's not a lot of whole people, and word spreads around fast and whatnot. So when we first joined this, everyone was like, "Oh damn, these guys are e-racing people," you know. They haven't driven real life cars before, so they're not like us. There was that sense of, okay, you came up here, we came up differently. So at first, there were some people who didn't want to believe in it. There were some people who were like, "You're not really a racing driver. You're just here, just for show." And of course, because it was a Gazoo Racing Rookies program, they were anticipating maybe it was just a media statement or something like that. To
Publicity
say,
stunt.
yeah, exactly. But no, Toyota actually believed in the theory of it, that e-racing drivers could come into real life, and they wanted to hone younger talents, and that was Toyota's main statement, and it really proved, because after that we see that that batch of rookies and other rookie batches proving to be champions in national level and whatnot. So that's how it became. But yeah, you still come across those people who say, "Yeah, you're just a sim racer." They don't really believe that we can become real life drivers. But
You never be like us.
Yeah.
You never be one of
yeah,
us.
but slowly, me and of course Alex Yoong, were trying to continue pushing that statement that sim racers are real life drivers, and we can become world champions one day. We're slowly making up that stage. We've won most of the last two S1K, so Sepang 1,000 kilometer race, which is basically arguably one of Malaysia's biggest race in the whole year. Last 2 years was won by a sim racer.
Oh.
It just pushing the message out there,
There you go.
So but still people are still not
It's going
buying
to be
to the
people
fact.
like that.
There's always going to be people like that, admittedly.
Yeah.
But we just focus on ourselves. We're just trying to prove that sim races are real life races, and hopefully this year, on my part, we'll be doing a lot more international races, going to other countries to race to further prove the point.
So now, do you drive more sim racing or real racing?
I would say actually nowadays is really equal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So before this, it was like a lot of sim racing. But for example, like last year, the balance was like really equal. I was doing a lot. There was a lot of weekends where I'm like, damn, I'm going to Sepang again. And last year was my first time experiencing international racing. And that was a big...
Oh, that was
big
your
one for me.
first?
That was my first time.
Oh my god! You
experiencing-
follow his Instagram. He's everywhere in the world.
No, I'm not.
Why am I not surprised?
Not-
yeah,
I'm
follow
not.
his Instagram.
No, I'm
Not
not.
like Alistair. Alistair is like
Alex is properly out there, but he was already racing overseas way before the pandemic.
yeah.
So last year was my first experience. So I went to Thailand to race in Buriram, and that is a track I've never ever driven before. Never. My way of practicing it was in the sim world, and that was a real good exposure as well for me, but for my team as well that I was driving for, because
You know the map.
yeah, I came in and they were like, "Hang on, you're already doing like decent lap times. How is that possible? You've never seen the track before. You've never driven the car before." I'm like, "Well, I learned the track from the sim world. It's a good. It's so amazing how close e-racing is to real life now, because the tracks, they're not just modeled off of like, I don't know, whatever app there is online.
Yeah.
It's actually 3D scan.
I heard about that. They
So
use
they
like a
have-
drone.
And especially I practiced on this game called Race Room,
Okay.
and they had the Buriram track, and they actually had the blueprints of the track. They were given rights to the blueprints of the actual track, and they could mimic it one to one. So when I tested it out, I was like, okay, cool. Breakpoint here.
Yeah.
The track goes off like that. It's cambered differently. I can use this curve. I can use that curve. So when I get into real life, I tried it out. I'm like, holy crap, it's
It works.
exactly the same. So that was really amazing to see that you could actually transfer it.
But I'm curious though, yes, it's like 1-to-1 on the screen and the track and all that, but how about like the nature of it? Like does it affect you? Like the weather, the G's, or
Yeah,
you know,
that's
the
actually-
wind blowing and all that pushing you back. The how you obviously you cannot
No,
simulate that.
that is
But
the
how much
one-
does that affect your
Yeah,
actual
so that's the
comparison?
one thing that sim racing, well, I don't think you can ever replicate that, which is the sensations you get behind the wheel, the G-forces, the sheer heat that you get
Oh my
in the
god, I never
cars.
imagined that. Yeah, you
It's
have no aircon.
crazy. No, there's no form of air conditioning inside the car. So that was the first challenge for me coming from sim racing into real life. Alex made sure like, okay, you're going to the gym now every week, and that's what I do now. I'm going to the gym every week, really doing strengthening and conditioning my body to really. It's not mainly for big muscles or whatever. It's mainly just for stamina and
Cardio.
strengthening of the body and whatnot. And that was it, because my first time in the car at 2021 in that test session, we were wearing the Nomex fireproof inners with the racing suit, with these gloves here, and it gets super, super hot.
I never imagined
How
that.
do you guys survive that? Like I always wonder, like the F1 races as well. Like you that weather that how?
It's crazy. So inside the cars, we're in temperatures close to 50 degrees.
Holy smokes.
That's how hot it is, because it's
Oh.
roughly 37 degrees air temp, ambient temp.
Yes.
And inside the cars, there's no form of air conditioning and whatnot.
It's a myth if anyone says that.
And we need the windows up, because if you had the windows down, windows get trapped into the car and it produces drag essentially. And we racing drivers, we want every advantage we can get. So we have the windows wound up all the way up, so that we don't have air inside here. So we're just in a sauna basically for like an hour, and it's just, you sweat so much, it's insane. And that's really important, that's where we learn the proper hydration techniques that you go into a race weekend. I'm slowly starting to take care of my diet and whatnot. And it's just stuff that you just have to adapt to and what. Yeah.
Would you have done all the dietary and the exercise if you stuck with ERacing?
Oh, of course not.
Oh, so you were like whatever.
I enjoy my Cinnabon and
Oh,
I like those stuff.
right.
So yeah, I mean, it's not necessary in the sim world, but in the real life world, you definitely need it.
What's the food diet like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us your regimen. Like,
Well,
regimen.
I'm not okay. Big secret that
Okay.
probably I'm gonna get bashed on by everyone.
Whatever that you can share, man.
I don't eat vegetables.
as a vegetable lover. Oh man. You are the guy who ordered mamak without toge.
Yeah, that's the one.
Let's ask Ben. You eat vegetables? Okay.
Oh man,
Why
I
is
have
the
no
people who eat
gang here.
vegetable is like this? It's like that. I need to stop eating vegetables.
Your mom will tell you otherwise. Okay.
So it's all the nasi goreng with no veggie, Maggi goreng no
My
veggie.
God.
I don't eat vegetables.
Okay.
But what I do is I have a lot of proteins now. So I eat a lot of chicken, eggs, carbs are to a minimum right now. Every now and then I have a lot more carbs. I eat bread and whatnot. But rice especially, I try to stay away from, because I seem to gain weight easier if I eat rice.
Yeah.
And I've gone past that stage where, when you were younger and you just eat whatever you want and you just don't gain weight. I now have gone past that stage and I do gain weight.
It's hard for me to believe.
Yeah, I'm wondering which part is gaining.
Is he lying?
Yeah.
So every now I try to control it a bit to try and maintain my weight, because weight, especially in racing, is really, it's a crucial part of the sport, because what we see is that if you're 10 kilos overweight,
Okay.
you lose 3/10 a lap.
Wait, that's a lot?
3/10 a lap is a lot, because 3/10, and especially we do 20 laps.
Yeah, totally. That's a minute.
We lose 6 seconds.
6 seconds. Yeah, that's
That's a huge amount.
Do you watch racing like tournaments?
Not all the time.
Sometimes you see the difference between the car and the car in front of you is 1 second. And
Yeah.
that would take like how many laps for you to surpass
Oh,
1 second?
you never know, because if your pace is so it's so similar, you're never gonna catch the guy.
The difference is only 1 second, but you will see the 1 second forever. On
Honestly,
that.
like if you're in a qualifying session and you see anything above the decimal points, so like for example, it's tenth, hundredths,
Yep.
thousands, right?
Yeah,
So if you
zeros.
see 1 second and the gap is that from you to the car in front,
Yeah.
your head's scratching already. You're like,
Oh, God.
how am I 1 second slower than the guy? That's
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
small
that's how-
and intricate these things are. To be within a tenth of a guy is already like, oh damn, I need to work further. That's the racing when it comes to lap times and whatnot. It's so minute that any advantage you can get, you get. So that's why we have to control our weights.
Right. Like for me, like I played Daytona and
Okay.
casually play all these games. Even as a casual player, when you drive or when I drive, I see that person in front of me and you're always like this. You always
Yeah.
get behind the
always-
person.
yeah.
When you're close, you have that frustration. And
Just
you're
like, how am I supposed to overtake you?
There's nothing you can
Yeah.
do to overtake them in a way, unless maybe you can shoot them down or something like Mario
Throw a
Kart
stone.
style. But you can't unless they make a mistake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you manage like the frustration, and what do you do to like maintain that, or at one point try to overtake?
So that's another thing where sim racing helps, is because you race against seasoned racers and
Okay.
varies level of experience. While if you race in real life, everyone's about the same, so everyone's experience level is about the same. But in sim racing, you race different types of styles and different types of drivers, and that's where you can learn the sort of things that you can do and the sort of people that you encounter and how to play with their weaknesses. But essentially, like you said, you just wait for them to make a mistake. So you pressurize them, you give fakes, saying, okay, I'm going to overtake you here. Then they go defend and, I'm actually jumping inside.
Right.
Yeah,
Try to play with their minds.
Yeah, essentially it's, when you reach that one level, it's all about mind games. It's all about playing with your opponent. And essentially it's the same with every sport. When you get to that level of competitiveness, it's all in the head. And that's where you have to play around with. So it's managing your emotions, managing the pressure. That's what separates the good drivers, the great drivers.
You know that we always know about that, and people can hold on to the immersion for how long? Some people can hold it for like a few hours, but example Le Mans 24 hours.
Yes.
How are you going not insane in that tournament?
Yeah, man. That's like literal 24-hour drive, right?
Yeah. Okay,
So-
but per session, how long per session for?
So, like-
they need to change.
Yeah, so we do change drivers on us so we normally 24 hours we have 3 drivers. So on average it's about 7 hours each, but we drive like 3 hours straight. So 3 hours, especially because we do it on the same. We haven't. If any of the sponsors out there want to sponsor us to Le Mans in real life,
Yep, you know who to contact.
but for now when we do Le Mans in virtual world, we're 3 hours sat on the sim rig, driving, looking at the screen for 3 hours.
don't
And
blink.
it's tough. It's really tough because
Focus.
it's just trying to maintain that focus and trying to keep the lap times as fast as you can without making mistakes, because that's the main point. Anyone can drive fast, but it's to do it laps without end, without making mistakes. That's the difficult part. And it's tough. It's really tough because not only are you driving yourself, but you have to manage cars around you. Because in a race like that, there's different classes. So there's slower cars, there's faster cars. So there's a lot of managing going on, a lot of mental management, trying to tell, okay, calm down, relax, and whatnot. It's super difficult, and I think the main technique to do it is just driving a lot more. It's just doing a lot more practice, making yourself comfortable driving that long. So say, to be comfortable driving 3 hours, you have to practice driving 5 hours straight.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the longest I've gone on a sim is 6 hours.
6 hours long.
My
And
mom,
that is not driving. That is like real.
It's like focus
That's
6 hours.
Yeah, not driving like
La, la, la.
maintaining a specific lap time, and that's not only maintaining lap time. We're doing fuel management, tire
Tire
management.
management. Yeah.
It's mind blowing. And yeah, I think my mom was confused like, ni tak keluar lagi ni.
It's like, Mom, not now.
Pause the game. I don't think.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Nope, we can't pause.
But do you
Yeah.
have like a mental coach to help you like doing trainings?
Honestly, yeah, Alex is really good at that. So Alex, I'm really fortunate to have him as a mentor because he's raced and driven all around the world and driven all sorts of things and met so many different people. So he's got buttloads of experience. And the thing about him, he's not shy to share. I love that about him because he's always willing to help. He wants to see people succeed. That's one thing good about him. And he just shares his experience, shares his knowledge about how you manage your mental side, how you manage your fitness side, driving wise as well. He's super good at that. There's so many stuff that I've learned from him as well. So yeah, I do have coaches who help me not only in the driving world but also behind the scenes as well.
Real life.
Yeah, that's where you will surprise how many people is behind the scene.
Yeah. That's where, when we always say like thank you to the team. We're not saying that out of spite. We're actually saying that because there's so many people.
You can't name them all.
But there's so many people who's brought me to where I am today. And they just don't seem to get the acknowledgement because they're not the ones out there on track.
The face is not on camera.
Yeah, their face is not there. But the fact of the matter is, without those people, I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here talking to me right now.
Right.
That's
there wouldn't
essentially
be
it.
that thing
It
there.
wouldn't be that thing there.
The only one thing that I will give feedback to the live stream that Alex here always done is that it could have higher production quality.
The thing is about that is, so that ERacing GP normally it's people working for free.
Yeah.
It's a community thing. We want to bring people.
I would do that for free.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Production?
Production. That production, I will do it for free.
Hello, Alex.
Yeah.
Because I'm a racing guy as well. I love watching F1. I love all that. I just don't want to drive.
Yeah, there's people like that. Yeah,
I'm a slow driver. I'm not a fast driver. But watching them do the work behind the scene makes me think like they are rocket scientists.
They are. They really, really are.
The numbers on screen, the map. Sometimes I see numbers that should not be numbers because they're writing it so fast you don't understand what they write.
Because essentially, us drivers, we are extracting information from the car and we're then depositing it to what we have data engineers. So us sim racing actually have data engineers and they analyze all sorts of data from car speed to suspension travel. That's where we set up the car and whatnot. So it's that's when we say sim racing is basically real life right now. All the stuff that you can get in real life cars, you can get in sim world. And fun fact, there's games are getting so close right now. I've heard there's a team in Europe who's actually done setup work on the sim and brought that actual setup, like camber, tire pressures and whatnot, brought it into the real world to test it out. That's how close it's got now.
It's like a simulator.
It has. It's got now. And the fact of the matter, and the brilliant part of it is, anyone can get it.
Yeah.
That's amazing, right?
Dude, that's crazy, man.
You know my mind-blowing moment when I heard this? It was actually for Victor.
Yes.
Oh, Victor, yeah.
So Victor is a very racing guy, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So we were one day. I remember we were like chilling out somewhere, and then there was like F1 being played, and it was explaining everything from the tire to the track to the weather, and I'm like, wow, there are just so many things that happen on racing. It's just not like people on four wheels going around.
No, there's so much thinking. Start car, go.
So many details that mind blows me.
There's so many things that we have to plan beforehand. So many things we have to manage as the race goes on. So yeah, it's a lot of thinking behind the scenes. We are just drivers. That's what I say. We're not really that much, it's the people that behind the scenes who really make the whole really make the whole act happen.
Racing is really something that I feel like it's mentally tiring. You said that it's going to take a while for you to like train yourself up. But I want to ask you, what happened if you made a small mistakes? Sometimes, how do you recover from that? That is where I feel like for esport sim racing, it's much more harder than like Mobile Legends or PUBG Mobile.
Oh
Because
yeah.
you
can't take down your enemy. You can't. Yeah.
It takes so long to kill someone, like to surpass that. Let's say like gaming term is killing them, right? It takes so long to like. If you make a small mistake, you need to recover. How do you do that?
Yeah, you can't farm items and get better items than
You go, you park your car for a bit. Then, okay, relax. Then go race again. Or how do you?
Yeah, it's a thing that you develop over time.
Yeah.
I admit when I first started, because I didn't have that much experience. So when you first started out and you make a small mistake, you're very, us drivers, I don't know about the majority, but I know myself, I'm very critical about myself. When I make a small tiny mistake, I really beat myself up to it. And that's one thing that I've learned not to do so much, because it works against you. You know, rather than actually forgetting about it, accepting it was a mistake, move on.
Yeah.
That's the better way to do it. You can't. It's just really difficult if you keep on dwelling on it, especially if you're in mid race and you're just beating yourself up like, oh, why did I do that and whatnot.
That was like half an hour ago. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
I'm still like, oh god. But yeah, it's something that you have to develop over time and over experience, really, that you gain that mental edge over yourself, that you have to accept it's a mistake, move on, and improve.
Okay, I want to talk about your equipment, right? And this is the thing that I've always been curious, because I've obviously watched some e-racing as well. Your gloves.
Yes.
Why do you need gloves for e-racing?
Yeah.
And
Why
tell
do you
us,
need
and tell
shoes
us
for
about
e-racing?
how special these gloves are.
Okay, so shoes,
Okay. shoes first.
surprisingly, I don't wear them for e-racing.
Right.
I'm
like those
forgot
racing
you don't
shoes.
wear them.
I'm barefoot.
Oh my
At
god!
home.
I remember. He's the weird one.
Wait, what?
No, everyone always say like we talk about Victor. I have another friend called Stopa as well. He's also
Stopa, yeah.
he's an enthusiast as well.
Yeah.
He say don't wear anything other than racing shoe. He's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
You cannot wear Adidas. It's a racing shoe.
Yeah, so and same in e-racing, I drive with barefoot. Only at home.
really forgot
You know
about
why? Because okay, so racing shoes, like real life racing shoes,
Yeah.
why they are called racing shoes is because one, well, they're fire resistant. So which is
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
okay.
a safety aspect of racing, and you have to wear them. But another thing is because the sole is super, super thin, because you want to have the most feel
Yes.
that you can have with the pedals.
I agree.
So essentially, you want nearly nothing between your foot and the pedal. So take that theory, come into e-racing, what's better than barefoot? You have exactly the
direct
perfect
contact.
feel. And hence that's why I do barefoot.
You know, sometimes I wonder, is it because you slap a gaming or racing or whatever thing that you want to put in front, and then you just bump up the price? You know, like people say, oh, this is a gaming cup.
You forgot one more thing, RGB.
RGB.
Yeah.
This is RGB. Then look at the colors.
Yeah.
but
Suddenly
then,
price bumped up crazy.
but then you don't even look at it or something.
But it sounds dangerous, because I heard so many people scuff their foot because for people who
Some
doesn't know,
do heel and toe.
Yeah.
Does that happen?
You can get scuffed by it, but as long as you do it correctly, you should be fine.
So what you're saying, you are not recommending people to do that.
I will. Actually, it's perfectly fine.
I think what you're trying to say is that if you get scuffed, you're not doing it right.
Yes, that's
Right.
the one.
Okay, it's your fault then.
I'm not.
Whoever it
I'm
is.
not dissing you people out there. You guys are perfectly fine. But
Comes from the professional.
You cannot
but the
fight.
gloves.
All
So
right. Yeah.
these gloves. These are FIA gloves.
Okay.
So these are the gloves that I use in real life racing,
Okay.
and these are fire resistant gloves.
Okay,
All
fire
right.
resistant,
Fire resistant, yeah.
Like
So
if I have a lighter right now, it doesn't melt.
I've always been tempted to try.
But
I don't.
Is this your only one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's not do it now. But I would always want to try because they're really expensive. You know?
How much
Okay.
does these cost?
Come back to the price. Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay, for reference, a normal pair of Daiso gloves.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, 5 ringgit.
5 ringgit. These are the cheapest variants,
Okay.
and they cost around $400.
Cheapest variants. This is hand of Midas, you know. It's like it turns things to gold. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
essentially, these are I only use these for real life racing.
Ah.
I don't use it for sim racing. So sim racing, I don't buy those, like you said,
Yeah.
gaming
RGB
RGB gloves.
When you're not even looking at it, you're looking at the screen. Right?
I essentially buy what's that shop called? That shop that sells
Don't tell me
sports
it's gardening gloves.
No,
Oh,
no. Sports equipment and whatnot. What's that shop
What?
called? Blue logo. Oh my god.
Decathlon.
Decathlon.
Oh, right.
Decathlon.
I buy those gloves from Decathlon.
Your baseball glove.
The we try find golf gloves.
No, not baseball. It's like a glove.
We find golf
The
gloves.
glove with a baseball.
Golf
a glove.
Yeah, so that's what we do that's what we use for sim racing. Mainly because when we use barefoot is fine,
Yeah.
but bare hands, because you have so much tension and you're always trying to focus and whatnot, your palms tend to get sweaty. And what happens is then you slip from the steering wheel. And you don't want that when
Right.
you're racing. So that's why we wear gloves.
Right. So there's an actual practical use to it.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah.
reason
It's
for
never.
it.
It's not for looks. It's not for looks.
It's not for style. It's like you know, like when you go bowling,
Yeah.
and then you see someone bringing their own bowling ball,
Yeah.
and you go like, bro,
Yeah.
And then balik with masuk longkang.
Yes. And the guy is like, I play with my own balls.
Yeah.
It's like,
Brilliant.
yeah, sure.
Yep. Very good.
And then they wear the bowling gloves.
Yeah.
It's like, and the next lane you'll be like, whoa.
Actually,
not for looks.
that's a good topic actually about equipment. So,
Yeah.
I mean, just to context, we were talking beforehand about how sim racing is considered the atas, atas level
Yeah.
of
High
esports.
class.
Yeah, the high class of esports. And agreeably so, when you compare e-racing to, let's say, other esports like FIFA or Mobile Legends or whatnot, it's just simple. You buy the console, controller, you're set.
Yeah.
So yes, in terms of esports, e-racing is a bit more on the expensive side because you have to buy the steering wheel, the whatnot to be really up there in the terms of competitive level. But when you compare e-racing to real life racing, e-racing is just like the bargain of the century. You know, because like we talked about it just now, racing is just so expensive that it's just become impossible for us normal people to get into the sport. And that's why we are trying to push sim racing and prove to the normal real life racing world that e-racing generates real life drivers. And we want us to be considered as real life drivers. Hence why we're pushing that so much. So yeah, in terms of esports, yes, e-racing is a bit on the top side. But in terms of racing, e-racing is just the next form of how to get into the sport of motorsports. Because like not everyone can afford 200 grand a year in go-karts. And that's just to race in the country. 200,000 ringgit.
You're not even experiencing.
You're not even doing overseas racing, 200,000 ringgit.
Insane.
While as sim racing, your basic setup could be within 2,000 ringgit. Yeah. And that's just how we want racing to be a sport that everyone can get into. And e-racing is the way forward.
Right, but speaking about like the barriers to entry and all that, right? Like, based on your experience as a e-racing driver, what are the struggles that you face personally, up to being like where you are today?
I think struggles mainly the same with other sports and esports probably is the sheer amount of time that you have to spend on the simulator to train.
Because you're studying as well, right?
Yeah. So
Oh,
Actually, I just graduated last year, but
hey, congrats.
when when I was studying and doing sim racing at the same time, it was a major toll, major toll because you'd have to spend, we'd spend minimum, say 3-4 hours a day
Oh,
just doing sim racing.
yeah.
And you have to bear in mind we're having class, I'm having classes and whatnot in the morning. Nighttime is sim racing, and you just can't fit your me time.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was the main real struggle because you'd go hop on here, hop on there, hop on here, hop on there. It just become a cycle, and you have to get used to it, and you just have to keep up with the training because if you don't do it, your competitors are doing it.
Yep.
They're spending the time. So if you're lacking, they're gonna be on it, and you're gonna be behind them. So like it or not, you're gonna have to put in that time, and it gets. There was one point where, in a whole week, I had like 4 sim races, and like big sim racing events in a whole week, and 3 of them were in like different games. So I have to like adapt to different games and learn on the fly. It was really quite tiring at that point, and it got to a point where it almost got overwhelming because I'm like, oh crap, is everything going a bit much here? Am I taking care of myself? And that's the important part where, it's a message to esports people in general as well. Like, always try and find time for yourself. Get away just for a moment, just maybe like a half an hour walk outside, do something else, just because it's healthy. It's not good to always stick around at your TV screen. Yes, you want to have that competitive edge, but if it ruins your mental state, then
You're not getting anything.
what benefit does it do? So that was really the main struggle because it just got a lot. It just came to a point where like I was thinking, oh my god, I'm doing a bit much.
I'm surprised that you're not like burnt out like that is.
Yeah, so that's when I got to that overwhelmed stage, that's where I guess I realized in early enough to not get burnt out, because it's very easy. There's a lot of e-racing drivers out there who push too hard and now just simply aren't doing it anymore because they've lost that passion already, because they've pushed through hard through that stage. So as long as you monitor yourself and you're aware of how you're feeling, it's fine. So that's the main struggle really of e-racing, but I'm sure that's the same for esports in general.
And you're a graduate in mechanical engineering degree, right?
Correct.
Well, what's your take about like when we hear some of the stories of like, okay, I want to pursue competitive all the way, and I'll put aside my studies for a while, things like that. What's your take on this?
I tell them, sit down, do not leave studies.
Agree.
No, because I'm not saying that just because there's cameras, yes, but I truly believe in it, because no matter what you do, no matter what profession, no matter what dream you have, nothing can top studies.
True.
Whatever you do, knowledge and studies, that's your main thing. That should be your main priority. So as long as you don't slack that aside, you can do whatever you want. You can pursue your dream, what not, but long as you don't leave studies. Studies is definitely a must. You can't leave that. And that's what I told myself. I'm like, I reassured my parents, like, I'm still focusing on my study. I'm not leaving it to a side. But
Sounds like balancing your studies as a student and also competitive racing as well. This two made up your whole life.
It did.
And you had to make sacrifices out there.
Yes.
Like maybe, I don't know, I can imagine like, oh, your friend asked you, hey, let's go catch a movie or something. You had to say no to a lot of these.
That
right?
was mainly a struggle at until now even. People are, when I first started sim racing, they joked about like, okay, we need to schedule you next time if we want to go out, because whenever they invite, okay, let's go hang at a mama or something. I'm like, oh, sorry, I've got practice. Oh, sorry, I've got a race. Oh, sorry, I'm doing something. It got, after a while, they got used to it and they're like, are you free? So it's a sacrifice that you have to do. But again, same with anything that you want to pursue. You have to make sacrifices along the way. You can't have everything exactly the way you want it. If that's what you want to go for, you have to realize that you have to make certain sacrifices.
Because I can imagine when I ask this question, right? If there are any younger audiences who wants to pursue the same route like you, but they have commitment with studies and also this, as a person in early 20s or late teens, right? You must be thinking of like, but I miss out on having fun with my friends, lepak at the mama, movies, whatever, karaoke, whatever. How do you really tell yourself that, okay, I gotta put all that aside for these?
It's a question that you have to sit down and ask yourself. It's a matter of, how bad do I want this? You know? Is it something that is worth sacrificing all these friends meet up and whatnot? So that's really a personal question that anyone out there who's looking to pursue this has to ask themselves. Because if you want to reach that level, you have to realize that, certain stuff you have to back out of. And like I said, I've been dreaming about becoming a racing driver ever since I was 3. So when you get that, and when I was growing up through the teen stages, school was actually quite tough because you'd have people liking the normal sports, football, whatnot, stuff that anyone can get into. And I'm there racing, and you're like, why would you like racing? And that was the tough part. And like, I even doubted myself. Like, there was at one stage I'm like, why do I like racing? Like, I could have liked anything else that I could actually pursue, but here I am wanting to become a racing driver. That just seems impossible. Like, why am I doing this to myself? But so that's when I got the opportunity in 21, where I realized, like, right, this is your moment. You have to make the most of it now. So, you're gonna have to say goodbye to certain things, and that's where the realization took part. So, it is a sad part, and I think about it every now and then. Like, I should have. I missed out on a hangout session here, or I missed out on a birthday party somewhere.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm happy to be able to live my dream, and I think that's outweighs what I lost out. So
It's very subjective, right? This
It
sort of
is,
thing,
it
right?
is.
Yeah.
That's the difference between like a champion and someone normal at
Oh
home.
my god.
You got it right.
Oh god. Let's take this down.
Your card is too heavy.
That's the weight you need to carry as a champion, no?
Yep.
Bam!
Approximately like 2 kg.
10 kilos,
Is
man.
it 10 kilo?
This is
I don't think it's
heavy.
kilo.
Six.
My kid is 10
6,
kilo.
7, yeah.
Your kid is
Yeah, my kid is 10 kilogram.
10 kilos.
So this is not 10
I would
kilos.
say it is 6 or 7 kilos.
Seven.
It's a
But
pretty
it's a good point that you brought up. It's a very difficult thing that, people don't realize, that it's a part of our life that we'd have to make sacrifices, and you won't be able to live the normal teenage life. But if it's really a dream that you want, you'd have to sacrifice it.
Also, there's another sacrifice that you are making. I don't think you remember or you think about this. Is your space in your room.
What space in the room? Tell us.
Tell us what's your setup
Oh,
is. Is it still the same?
It is still the same, yeah.
Okay, tell us. I need a picture for the podcast though.
It's my mom's nightmare.
Okay.
Because everyone has this nice design room. Normal people, we have the bed there, wardrobe there, and a study table here.
Yep.
We don't have the study table. We have the sim rig there.
Right.
And basically, it just crams up the whole room, because then you have a huge PC here, a rig here,
Yeah.
and then you have the green screen at the background to cover off the background. It's just really crams up the room, and it's not really very nice to look. So it has hurt my mom's eyes, but Well, she can't do much.
I like that the monitor is just a normal monitor, but it's a wall-mounted monitor. So when he's trying to race, he just pull it
Just
like
pulls
here,
it onto the sim rig, yeah.
pull it down a bit and tilt it a bit.
Then you're
Start
ready to go.
driving. It's really quite genius actually. I
Yeah.
was not expecting that, and it took us how many hours to connect the monitor.
Oh
'Cause
my god.
the monitor broke. I don't know what happens. We were setting up for the Le Mans.
The Le Mans, stream.
My
Didn't
God.
work. It's just like, why?
And you know what fixes it? We turn it off and on again. It works.
Oh man, the 101 troubleshooting.
I hate technology.
Amazing.
You know that? I hate technology.
Oh, I was there for like half an hour, just like googling, like
Troubleshooting 101. Restart.
Gosh.
On off.
Have you tried to play in the sim, but try to make it realistic? Like for example, turn your fan into a heater so that you can feel the heat.
Oh no, of course not. I wouldn't go through that torture. I go through that enough in the real life car. I wouldn't. But to be fair, in my room, where I sim race,
Yeah,
I don't have an air conditioning.
yeah, you have a fan.
I have a fan.
Yep.
And it's not good enough. I still sweat buckets when I drive sim racing. So yeah, I guess that's immersive enough.
Yeah. But actually, the question that I want to ask is, when you are sitting down, it doesn't matter in real life or in sim racing, your posture is a bit uncomfortable. The way I see it, it looks uncomfortable.
I
You're-
wouldn't say
you're
uncomfortable.
squatting.
Yeah, I wouldn't say uncomfortable. It's a bit unconventional.
Yeah.
So in race cars, essentially, you sit really low, but your feet is essentially quite high. So you know
I
how
can
you,
imagine it's like that. Right?
Dia
Like
macam
the feet.
mencangkung tapi duduk.
yeah. So essentially, you're sitting down. Oh gosh,
Oh, okay.
where you're sitting down, but then your feet is like up
Yeah,
here.
yeah, it's like
Right.
that.
So because it's just how we sit in real life cars, and essentially, it's actually quite comfortable.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's just very difficult to get in and out of.
Right.
Because you have to like
Yeah.
lumber down, and to get up, you have to. It's difficult. But that's why we work out, I guess.
Wow.
To
Yeah.
get in and out of the seats.
I tried once.
And
It's like the way I crawl out. It's like I'm on the floor. Like,
Pretty much have to roll out.
roll out. Luckily, this one doesn't have the shifters as well. So
So you
there's
can
an
just
empty spot on the lap. Just roll out. Have you been in a sim? At least a sim.
Have you tried a simulator? Yeah.
I have sat on a sim rig before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, some sim rigs they vary in how they position wise.
Yeah.
So some are
Sitting
normal
up.
sitting up,
Yeah.
and some are like really aggressive where your legs are the level of your
Your shoulder.
shoulders,
Yeah.
and that's more like Formula One style seating position.
Right.
That's the one that I tried. The Formula One one. The legs is like
yeah,
up
yeah,
here.
yeah.
It's legitimately like
So essentially, why we do that is because it follows the shape of the car,
yeah.
and you want to have the lowest center of gravity as you can. So you have the heaviest part of your body, which is your core, legs, and whatnot, really low down.
Right. It's
so
all the
the
physics
weight.
thing.
Yeah,
right?
it's all physics and it's all car design.
What about your best memories that you've had in competitive racing or sim racing?
Competitive racing best memories. Le Mans, I guess, was
Le Mans was-
really up
wow,
there.
Le Mans was crazy.
So Le Mans, it's the biggest sim race in the world.
Okay.
It's not even in Malaysia. It was in the world.
Right. Can you illustrate to our audience like how big is big?
How big is big?
Oh my
If
god.
anyone watches racing here and they know the name Max Verstappen,
Okay. Yeah.
Formula One world champion for
Yep.
2 years, no, 3 years now.
3 years back to
3
back.
years back to
Yep.
back, right?
Yeah.
He was taking part in that. He was in the race. You have Charles Leclerc, another F1 drivers, many current and previous Formula One drivers, different disciplines like IndyCar. All these
Yeah.
drivers are taking part in this sim race. And you have real life teams as well. You have the actual Ferrari team, the actual Red Bull team, Mercedes, top teams. And these are teams with, people say it's sim racing and whatnot, but there was a shot of Ferrari and their background. The way they set up their sim racing team is like the real life team.
Yep.
You have like 5 engineers, you have race managers, you have the sim areas at the front. And here we are in Malaysia, 2 guys looking at a screen. It's like a normal screen, and just drivers at their own homes. And we managed to finish. So there was a total of, I think, like 40, 50 cars.
Yep.
We managed to finish 4th in the
Yes.
whole world.
Was that above Max Verstappen?
Max Verstappen was gone. He crashed out himself.
He crashed in the first quarter, yeah.
So it's a flex.
I
my
beat
God.
it. Max Verstappen in a real life race.
I remember that tweet got viral because
Yes.
technically he lagged.
No. He did actually make a mistake.
Oh, did he?
He actually made a mistake.
Because he was saying, oh no, that was
That
last year.
was the next season, right?
Because that one, the tweet got viral because he got kicked out and he's like, fuck this game,
Yeah.
I'm not playing
I'm
this anymore.
uninstalling it.
A gamer move, bro.
and,
Now you know that you can rage quit.
and actually, to be fair, his rage quit was quite valuable because that game is pretty much dead now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
this game, they hosted Le Mans for 3 years now. 2021, 2022, and 2020. No, 2020, 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
So we got 4th in the 2021 edition,
Yes, which is
Yeah.
with Sam Knight.
which was with Sam 9.
Oh,
Yep.
And
yeah. Thank you to Sam 9.
it was a huge achievement because we beat these factory teams, and here we are, basically individual privateers,
Yeah.
and we're beating these guys. We beated these guys. We've overcome the impossible. Basically, it was like a David and Goliath moment.
Uh-huh.
So that was that. But 2022, where the game had, I don't know what was wrong with the servers, but it kept on crashing.
Yeah.
Like you said, Verstappen, he got lagged out and
Yep.
he got disconnected. And he mentioned that he was going to uninstall the game. After that, they haven't hosted another Le Mans race. They haven't been able to.
I think they are making a new server, so
They
will not
probably are
happen.
making a new one, but
Yeah.
whether it's going to be enough to catch back Verstappen and the rest of the lot
Yeah.
into the scene again,
It's quite hard.
we'll see.
It's stressful because in that game, the way that he explains it, when you got kicked out or lag and kick, you can't
You can't
rejoin.
join back. It's
What?
Yeah, you can't rejoin. You are gone.
What?
Even if it's not your problem, even if it's not your internet, it's the game's fault.
You're gone.
Yep.
What?
So that's
So
why he
when
was
people
pissed off.
say like, sim racing's not real. Real life cars, you have mechanical damages, car blows up and whatnot, engine damage and whatnot.
Yeah.
This is it.
This is it.
yeah,
This is sim racing's equivalent of an engine blow up.
yeah, it's the same as the not realistic part because I was watching the stream. I think I watched for like 5 hours.
Oh my
whatnot.
god.
Yeah, I was watching it in bed, like
Yeah.
watching it on the phone.
Oh, because he was driving, right? So you.
No,
That's
no. For him, I was watching more than 5 hours. This was for myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you have some problem, like if you bump a car beside you, it will actually detect the carnage in the car.
Yeah.
If the tire is like not stable anymore or the wind draft is a bit different, so your car is slower, but it doesn't show. That's the problem. So for normal people,
They don't see that.
They don't see it.
And they don't know like, why is he so slow now?
Yeah.
But essentially so you know how in accidents when you hit a car wrongly,
Yeah.
sometimes your alignment goes off
Yeah.
and whatnot. Same thing in sim. I mean, if you hit a car at an angle, our street is now become here. So we're
Yeah.
having to manage
Move
like
like
that. But the people out there, they don't see that. So
Right.
it's
sad to
crazy
see.
how similar you can get it to now. It's like sim racing in real life. But it's a shame that it's not to that level where viewers and non-sim racing enthusiasts get to see it. So when people are from real life racing enthusiasts, they watch sim racing, they still are not fully immersed into it yet.
Yeah, immerse. Yeah.
But hopefully one day it can be that people who like real life racing can enjoy sim racing as well.
Unreal 5.
But yeah, I would say that would be one of the top moments because that was a world level moment. Beating the top guys, and it was hugely it was received so well from the whole sim racing community because they were so stoked that we were able to achieve that.
Oh, it's like you guys represent us.
Yeah, it
Like,
was
let's go, sim racing.
Yeah. It was essentially that. So that was a good moment for me. But so that was more me and Sam9 and Axel at that point, that whole team. My personal would be last year, which was there was the Asia Pacific Motorsport Championship. So this was a full-on FIA. So FIA is basically the racing governing body. and it's the one who properly hosts F1.
Oh,
They
okay.
host the big races, and these guys hosted the regional Asia Pacific. It's essentially the Asia Pacific Games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's
So,
gold medals, silver medals, and whatnot. So I was fortunate enough to be selected to represent Malaysia in the esports category. And me and my team, I won the drivers championship, and me and my teammate won the teams championship.
So it's
So
a goal.
we won. I won 2 goals, and that was really really special because
Man.
we sat on the I mean, I've been lucky enough to be able to stand on the top step of the podium
Yeah.
a few times before. So, but that one felt a bit more special because I had the whole Malaysian flag behind me. They had the national anthem playing. Everyone was really cheering. That I never expected myself to feel emotional, but I was. It took my breath away. Like I'm like, holy crap! This is actually
it's a real
huge
moment.
moment for me. So that would be probably the best, one of the top moments, representing the country and being able to bring back gold for us. That was good.
Any other bad moments that you have had before?
Yeah. So yeah, like I mean, we were talking about the good moments, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing's perfect, in life.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's been a few rough patches. I think there was that. I think it was 2022 where there was a stage in the racing part
Okay.
where everything I take part in, for some reasons, always something had to go bad.
Oh no.
It was someone takes me out, I myself make a mistake, and there was just one part. There was just one phase where, no matter how hard I tried, I could never do the pace or do the lap time that I needed to be up the top. And that was a real tough moment. I was thinking, that was a stage where, I mean, I was talking to Alex, I'm like, I'm struggling. I can't get my head over this.
Yeah.
Like, why, how, what am I doing wrong? And it's very difficult to get past that moment. It's a stage where you have to tell yourself, you're going through a phase right now.
Yeah.
And this is the challenging moment where you now can either go 2 separate ways. One way of just trying too hard and just
Not succeed.
not succeed and just give up and just lose that love for it. Or you can persevere, still maintain what you're doing, as long as maintaining your regime and your schedule the right way you're doing it. And as long as you're doing it in a way that you know is correct, persevere, the time will come, and results will come.
Okay.
Because that's the most difficult part, because there was that stage in life where in my journey so far where, like I said, everything I'm doing, nothing's going right. Nothing's going your way. There was sometimes internet issues. There were sometimes moments where stuff out of your control, and you're like, what can I do right now? It's just luck. But yeah, that was a point where you have to tell yourself, just keep doing what you're doing. Believe in yourself. Don't lose hope, and eventually the results will come. And that was a good moment in my life, because up to that point, I was lucky to experience a lot of success, and that was a turning point. Saying life is a wheel. You're gonna be down here sometimes. You're gonna be back here sometimes at one point. But remember, just never stop believing in what you did before, and hopefully it'll come through.
Orang Melayu cakap kalau asyik ada benda buruk jadi mandi bunga.
Oh, bahaya tu.
At that time, I give you all the flowers.
I'm like, come on.
But I'm curious to know, like, what Alex said to you, like, during those moments when you had the confession with him.
Because he's done so much racing. His way of, not to say comfort, but his way of trying to reciprocate my emotion was trying to share his point of view. And he shared, it's like, dude, it happens.
Chill.
There's been moments, because I was telling myself, because like I said, I was really bad at managing these negative emotions. I always like, oh my god, why this can't be happening, and I always beat myself up. And I was asking him like, should I be okay with losing? Should I be more accepting of losing? And I'm like, and he's like, no. If you're accepting of losing and you're okay with losing, then you're never gonna be as good as you can be. So it's kind of good that you have this feeling, and that, and I'm like, okay, that's good, it's a positive thing. But the thing that he mentioned is that don't dwell on it. So yeah, don't keep asking yourself, why is it like that? Why is it like this? Just keep on doing what you're doing. Because he was sharing stories about how, there was a part of his racing career where nothing was going right. He would go for drives and just wouldn't be quick. But then years later, pam pam pam, and he then found his mojo again, and then he became, I think it was Audi champion at that point. So yeah, I think it's just the line, and that's, I always like to say, just never stop believing and always push yourself to what you can achieve. And that was how I overcame that struggling point. Yeah.
You spoke a lot about like Alex being a amazing mentor and all that. How would you describe him as a person?
Oh,
Describe him as a person. I hope he's not watching this. He's a super great guy. He's a guy that he does things without really expecting anything in return. He's that type of guy who, if he believes in something, he'll achieve it. And I mean, he's shown that pretty much his whole life. He wanted to do water skiing. He from nowhere really, and then he got gold in I think he won the SEA Games or Commonwealth. I don't know what he got gold in.
I
that.
didn't know that.
I need to look back at history books.
When I heard that as well, I'm like, you did that? And then he said he wanted to do F1, which was unheard of in anyone in Malaysia at that point. People will call him crazy. He made it into F1. It's just crazy. And then he said, I want to make sim races into real life races. Again, people told him, why? For what? There's no point. You're never gonna get anyone that's gonna be able to do that. And he's proved them wrong as well. So he's just that type of guy. He has a goal, he'll go at it at 200%. And I think that's one good side of him, but it's also I wouldn't say a bad side of him, but he tends to always push himself a bit too much as well. So I mean, he just needs someone to tell him to,
Chill down.
relax, because he can push himself a bit too much, but I'm sure that's how he got to where he is now. Without him being as persevere as he was and not pushing the limits as he was doing, he wouldn't have achieved what he had. So I guess that's one attribute of him which is really admirable, and I think that's one thing that I always try to match is that level of professionalism and level of belief in yourself that you can achieve these things if you push hard enough.
A true professional, very experienced, and something that you would hear from someone that is at that level.
I'll say. I feel like Alex is the kind of guy who, where he is calm, he's bored.
Yes.
he keeps wanting to do something.
Yes,
right.
He is a type who cannot stand still.
He
will always be doing something, trying to do something.
Literally, as a racer, you're always moving. Yeah.
Very much so. You can never take the racing driver out of a person. He's always a racing driver in him. You can never take it out.
But I also got a weird question for you. If you have the power to create a game, and you will say this is the most perfect game for sim racing,
Right.
what element do you want in the game?
For a perfect sim racing game.
Don't say Need for Speed. That's not.
I would say the best game that, in terms of realistic driving, that I've experienced so far is probably either Race Room or Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is ACC, as short as we call it in the sim racing world. Those two really taught me how to drive a car in real life. Yeah, because the way you drive in those things is very similar to real life. Some say iRacing and whatnot, but iRacing for me, I could never really feel
What,
the
third?
tires
Oh.
from the steering wheel,
Uh,
while as those two games I could. And that is how it is in real life. You can feel when you're going over the limit,
yeah.
if you're under driving.
Mm.
So that I wouldn't say iRacing, even though I know a lot of people out there would say iRacing in terms of driving physiques.
Mm.
But I would say ACC or race room in terms of driving physics,
Mm.
that would be one part of it.
Okay.
I would want Gran Turismo's graphics.
Nothing
Nothing can beat
That was the
Gran
best, like,
Turismo
Gran Turismo.
graphics. It is so realistic,
Yep.
and it's so, the details that they put into the game is insane. It's just a massive shame that the game drives so unrealistically. But that is just, it's just the nature of the game, because they know it's supposed to accommodate all types of players. It's supposed to be able to be we call it, what we call it is simcade. It's a simulator plus an arcade. So it's not a full-on real-life simulator,
Yep.
but it's closer to a simulator than your Midnight Wangan or
Yeah.
Daytona. But if it had graphics, if Assetto Corsa or Race Room had the graphics of Gran Turismo,
Gran
then
Turismo.
it would be amazing. And to top it all off,
Okay.
have the flexibility of the normal Assetto Corsa game. So the normal Assetto Corsa game is an open world, or I don't know.
Oh,
what
is
you-
it open world?
Not open world, sorry. It's an open, what do you call it? But it's basically anyone who's a modder who can create cars can upload it into it.
It's open source.
Open source, that's
Yeah.
the one. If it would have that, then it would be perfect. You would have the driving physics of real life, graphics that can mimic real world, and the
And the beam.
flexibility to have whatever you want on track. Because the thing is about real life sim racing now, it's gotten so close that you can drive your dream cars. Or you can drive cars that you want to buy in the future to see if you actually like it. And that's
That's a good point.
Yeah.
God,
That's a
I
good
didn't think
point.
about that.
Yeah.
because I'm always on a Assetto Corsa driving a Porsche GT3 RS, dreaming like, so this is how it feel around Sepang or Nürburgring or
Imagine
whatever.
you wear a VR headset as well.
Exactly. So those would be the 4 attributes: the racing, driving of ACC or race room, graphics of Gran Turismo, and so 3 attributes, and the open source part of being able to just download whatever you want.
I will add on one
Anyway.
more thing.
Oh yeah.
The server power like Dota.
Yes,
So it would not
server
crash.
online. I forgot about that.
Like
I never played Dota before. Is it really good?
Between all of them,
Mhm.
Dota and League of Legends is the top one. But Dota is much more better than League server.
So how many people can you? Why is it good? Is it good because of the amount of people it can handle? Or
Do you remember when play TFT, the TFT Dota
Yeah.
version?
Yeah.
That's
The lot.
I thought
like
you were gonna say TF2 Team Fortress 2. I was like, whoa, you went way back there.
that one you can fit until 8 people.
Right.
But there is a mode for you can put until 16 people. 16 people, everyone playing at the same time, and all the graphic is max. It can still handle.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that was quite high. So game developer out there.
So Jason, if you're listening to this,
Jason.
you know,
Oh
What,
my
you got a
God.
name? Which Jason is it?
race room Jason.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So Jason,
Oh my God.
there's some ideas here, okay? Some ideas in case. you know.
Jason, don't come at me. I'm just saying a dream life.
What I'm saying is royalty.
Yeah, we got that copyrighted here. You know? It's a 3-way split. It's fine.
Everything's business. Everything's business.
He wants to buy his Porsche one
Yeah.
day.
Oh, man, using the money for the
Get
kid.
there.
But that would be the dream game because
Oh.
that would just have everything at all. Because right now, there are games that have their pros and cons. Nothing has the full
Yeah.
perfect combination. But I'm sure one day we'll have.
Yeah, hopefully.
Maybe we'll be the developers of it.
Oh god.
Oh wow! I mean, we'll patent that here.
The
Okay?
Yeah.
only code I know is Hello World. That's all.
We'll stop there. But that's like the dream game. Okay, but what about like for yourself, right? Like, what's
yeah.
your future plans for yourself? What's next for
Future
Naquib?
plans for me. So me personally, we've done a lot of regional racing. We've won a lot of regional racing. So that's good for me and also the team. Because of me and Axel, we've shown the world that us in Malaysia, this small little country here, we're able to be on top of Asia Pacific and regional titles. What we haven't shown yet is to be world level. And that's the aim. So that is really the main goal. So last 2 years, 2022, I represented Malaysia in the also FIA, but this one is the motorsport games. So FIA motorsport games, be it your Olympics for racing. Imagine the Olympics, but for racing. So you have all these different categories. And for the first time, 2022, esports was included. So I was fortunate enough to be selected to represent Malaysia in the esports category for the FIA Motorsport Games. And we went all the way to the finals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it would have been a top 10 finish had incidents not happened.
Something happened.
Something happened. But that would be a goal, to be a world level winner. That is, I would say, the natural progression, because we've won national level, we won regional level. Next step would be to win world level. And FIA Motorsport Games, which is happening this year in October, would be the goal.
When would that be? This year?
They will be sometime in October, I think. Look in my socials, I'll for sure post it up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll leave all the links and everything here down there.
Yeah. So that at that time in 2022, that FIA Motorsport Games was held in Paul Ricard in France. First time in Europe.
France.
So we're going there for a race event. So I'm like,
man,
wow,
that's
dream life. Yeah. And this year will be in, I think, either Spain or Italy.
Oh.
Yeah, so hopefully, I mean, that's the goal, to do well enough to be selected once again to represent Malaysia in the FIA Motorsport Games. But rather than just become finalists, I want to win a medal there.
Are you going to do anything differently to prepare yourself? Like, rather than the typical, like, oh, I just train and drive and diet. Anything else are you doing?
I think differently would be, I think, mindset level. So
Mindset level.
Yeah, because back in the few years, I always had part of my mind in studies as well. But now that I've graduated studying, I think I can try put a bit more focus into real life racing, which also in turn means more sacrifices.
Well, that's what you need to do.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's where I would try and do to try and achieve what I want to achieve. Other than that, for me in real life racing, I want to do more international racing as well. So I've done pretty much most of the racing that I can do in Malaysia. I started experiencing Thailand, which is an international race last year. And now I've always been racing touring cars. So touring cars is these front wheel drive, normal cars modified into real life cars.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm now looking towards going into GT racing. So GT racing is purpose-built race cars where you see the BMWs, you see the Ferraris, Lamborghinis, all those big manufacturers. So that's where I'm looking towards going into this year. Anyone out there looking to sponsor a young and upcoming racing driver, hit me up, please. I'm right here. That one.
That has an award.
I have to promote this time.
Heavier. This is real, it's not CG.
But that would be the goal for this year, going into GT racing more overseas to try and put my name out there and become eventually a world champion.
Eventually. You will.
I'm very inspired just by listening to him.
Yeah. I feel like today when I go back from office, I'm going to drive 140, 160. After
Message out there, do not drive dangerously out in the roads.
It's really seasonal.
Even though I race really fast on track, on the roads, I keep within the speed limits, 110 max.
When you say really fast on tracks, what's the fastest you've been?
Oh, yeah. Good
That's
question.
a good question.
Yeah.
Fastest I've driven on track, in terms of lap time or in terms of straight line speed?
Speed, yeah.
Straight line speed.
Just for layman people, right? Speed.
Yeah, in terms of speed, fastest I've driven is I've driven a modified Audi. It's not even a race car.
Oh, okay.
A modified Audi road car
Uh,
that hit 270 on the Sepang Strait. And Sepang Strait, just so that people don't know, is under a kilometer. It's not even a kilometer long.
so it's
the-
under a kilometer?
it's under a kilometer
You
long.
can marathon on that, like not marathon as in
Yeah.
like
You can run
jogging.
on that.
Yeah.
You can jogging on that.
The main straight is just about a kilometer. I could be wrong. If anyone out there knows the actual specs, let me know. But from what I know, it's just within a kilometer. And they hit 270 kilometers an hour.
Okay.
By the time you hit top speed, you're already by the end of the road.
So that's when we're going back to the transitioning from real life to from virtual to real life. That sensation of speed you don't get in real life. I mean, in the sim, that sense of fear.
Yeah.
Because you in racing, you want to brake as late as you can.
Uh-huh.
And when you're coming into a corner, you see the corner approaching. You see the brake markers approaching, and you know you don't have to brake here. You have to brake another 100 meters in front. So you're saying, keep full, keep full, keep full, keep full. Then you brake.
Oh, it's so
That's
scary.
the scary part.
Yeah, because on sim racing, you can like, okay, if you make a mistake, it crashes, you're still like, whatever. But in the real world,
Yeah.
You're dead, bro.
I don't know, man, but I'm sure they have the safeties and stuff.
Of course,
right,
they have the
beside,
safety and
yeah.
whatnot, but it's still to reach
My
the
God.
You
to
don't want
reach
to
the
crash a car.
to become fast. You have to drive near the limits.
Yeah,
And-
yeah, yeah.
There's nothing than driving to the limits, right? So that's where you have to get over it. You have to get over that sense of fear, and that's one thing you don't get in sim racing. In real life, you have that that scariness, you know.
I feel like after this, if you want to make content, because you haven't made a TikTok yet,
No, I have not.
so I got an idea for you. If you want to do that kind of racing, wear a heart rate sensor. Record the heart rate sensor while you're
yeah.
driving. Because some people don't really care about, oh, what's your speed, your timing. For normal people, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But if they see your heart rate sensor,
They'll be like, wow.
oh, that's how it feels like.
Yeah.
He can help you to produce it.
Yeah.
Actually, I can.
Yeah,
I've done experiment when I was doing a jogging stream.
Uh-huh.
That I have a heart rate sensor
Oh,
strapped to my
okay.
head.
Cool.
My heart, just because I want to know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's quite fun.
Yeah.
People love to see that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
oh,
cool.
oh, it's 120.
I think it's people. It's people to it's easier for people to understand.
Yeah, yeah,
What it actually feels like.
yeah.
But yeah, it's really nerve wracking. But it's something that sim racing helps because sim racing tells you, yes, this should be possible.
Yeah.
So you don't get scared in the real life world because you know, okay, yeah, I'm not driving over the limits. I know this can be done.
You tested it out.
I just have to do it. I just have to do it. So yeah.
The sim
That's how
racing,
it is.
the double check that. Yeah, yeah, I checked.
Yeah.
Can, can.
He's like, yeah, you can do this? Okay, cool.
Talking to the mirror. You can do this? Yeah, I can.
Well, we're at the end of our podcast
Already?
right now.
Ah.
Yeah, I know, right? There's just so
No,
much
no
to
way.
talk about. How time flies when you're
God, it's
having
already gone.
conversations like this. Yeah, but it's not only about our time. It's about storage. that's the real world of content
Yeah,
creation.
literally, I
right?
just checked because we have Ben to check out. Like we have like 10 minutes.
storage. Okay.
Damn.
Yeah, storage is a struggle here. Many people don't know, but we'll talk about that in a different episode.
Yeah, different.
Yeah.
With Ben.
With Ben.
With
Ben has to
with
join.
Ben need to be here.
You'll be sitting here one of these days. So what? As a closing, right? I always like to ask my guests, like, what is that one advice you would give to the people out there who wants to be in the competitive scene just like you?
First of all, don't be just like me. Try be better than me. I think that's the most. I think that's the most important thing. I think you always try to. You don't want to be exactly like another person. You can idolize them and you can follow their footsteps, but you always in your mind you want to be yourself, and to be yourself, you always want to be better than someone. So I always tell that to people, like, especially when I'm coaching someone, like when they say, "Oh yeah, I will never be as quick as you" or something like that, but I'm like, no, you'll be quicker than me one day. You'll be quicker than me one day. But I think a big advice for you lot out there is, if you have a dream, pursue it. Never stop believing in that dream because you never know what might come. I think, as for me, especially like at that age of probably, I don't know, 18, I was thinking, that's it, racing's out of the way. I'm doing studying now. I'm going to become an engineer and that's my life sorted. But opportunities come from parts of the world that you never expect. So yeah, always pursue your dreams. Never stop believing in yourself and never forget studies.
Ah.
Studies is always something that you have to keep focus on no matter what you do. Because at the end of the day, without the dreams and whatnot, if you don't have the knowledge, you won't go anywhere in this world. So yeah, studies, and then if you have a dream, pursue it. Don't let anyone say anything else. Always believe in yourself and believe that you can make it one day.
You know when people go to school, they say, I hate math and everything. His job is all about numbers.
Which is true, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
too,
it
numbers.
just so happens to be that I love maths.
That's why you want to do it. You keep calculating the timing.
I love maths. Maths is my favorite subject. So yeah. But yeah, that would be my main advice to people out there who want to do it. Do it.
Well, that's amazing stuff, and it's nice to hear from a professional who's also balancing studies and all that. Because I think that's a message that we also always need to tell the younger generation as well, who wants to pursue competitive gaming,
Yeah.
especially.
Just
Yeah.
study. It's nothing
Because
wrong
there's
with
so
it,
many
study.
people out there, who's done esports or
Yeah.
stuff that they want to do, no matter what the dream is, and they think, oh, you can drop out of school to do that. But no, that's just not the way it works. School studies, that's your main thing, but at the side, if you have a dream, pursue it as well.
Yep.
That's the main message out there.
It's possible.
Most successful esport people that I know, which I know quite a few people, and nobody is a dropout.
Exactly.
I have to say, like most of the people that I think you say is you know as well, they have like degree in this. Even a caster have a master on the way taking masters as well.
Exactly.
Taken masters.
Taking master.
Taken.
You're taken. You done already,
taken.
right?
Yeah, master is done. I'm doing PhD now.
So PhD.
No
now.
way.
Yeah, man.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
so
That
you mean
was
PhD and all this work.
That's
you know,
impressive.
It's a lot of
That's what I
work.
say.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
No, that's
Yeah.
really impressive.
you know, it-
again, showing the world that
I mean,
you just have to do it.
when people hear from me, it's like, oh, this old man keep preaching the same thing, you know. At least when they hear it from you,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's like, hey,
The
that's your
youngest
age
guest we
group.
have.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's school studies. That's you can't live without that. So people out there, please don't drop out of work, or please don't drop out your studies or whatnot, because you're gonna need it.
And work as well.
And work,
Depending on which
Depending
part
on what
of
you do.
No,
if you're
that's the
life you
grind.
are. Yeah,
Yeah, the work
Yeah.
and study. That's the grind, man.
grind. But anyway,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
No worries.
Naquib.
Pleasure.
It's an honor being able to speak to the best driver
no lah.
awarded by the Malaysia Esports Award.
Proven.
God.
Proven. It's there.
It's there.
That is
Oh
his,
my
by the way.
God.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure hearing your stories. It's been amazing as well.
Nah, I love it. Love the time. Thank you for having me on here. I'm not really anyone, but I've been on it this time to share my stories.
They say, he
Yeah.
say to her.
Yeah, I'm not really anyone. I'm not really anyone holding a 400 ringgit cheap glove. He says cheap. This is the cheap one, okay?
I can't imagine the most expensive one.
I
How much is
can't.
it?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
What's the most expensive one? Just a quick
Yeah,
one.
find the
Just
question.
a glove can be around 1,000 plus.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm
Yep.
like, oh, okay.
Yep. I'm gonna just use my gardening glove.
Yep.
Mr. DIY.
Yeah. I'll be happy with my surgical gloves, you know.
Yeah.
1 ringgit a piece or something.
Oh god.
But again, if you guys have a guest that you want to hear from in the future, or if you have questions related to sim racing, you can leave it in the comment section, because we're curious to know what you guys want to know as well. And who knows, we might have a follow up with Naquib in the future, or maybe his brothers. You know,
Oh.
Never
Both
say
brothers. Both
both
races.
brothers here.
Never say
right?
never, yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe as well. We thank you again for watching. This is Podcast Berlesen, the place where we bring together people from the esports scene, and they share their stories together with us. Thank you, and we see you guys in the future. Bye.
Bye.